Good morning. This is Dave Kelm. It is soupy, foggy. It's like 35 degrees. It snowed a lot, so therefore it's all melting. Lots of fog, lots of nastiness. I think getting in the car and sort of walking through the slush and the grossness reminded me of, as a kid, having to sort of slog to school and this kind of stuff. And so I'm 51, so this is sort of, and it makes you wonder, it was before, like, winter boots. You got to think, who finally said galoshes are stupid? They might keep your feet dry, but they're not warm. I mean, they're not. You're wearing essentially a piece of flexible rubber around your stocking foot, your foot in a sock, and your foot in a sock was in a garbage bag, like a plastic garbage bag or a plastic bag of some sort, like a bread bag. Sometimes, you could use a bread bag, and it would slip into these galoshes, and then you would take your shoes and you would walk to school. I'm surprised more kids didn't have toes just amputated once they got to the school nurse. It was ridiculous to wear galoshes. And then sometime, probably in the late 70s or early 80s, somebody invented the moon boot, which came in all kinds of weird colors, but essentially was a snow boot, was a boot like you think about. It keeps your feet warm, and it's waterproof, and you can go sledding in it, and you can walk to school in it, and you can put it on, and you can slip it off, and it's a boot. Instead of like sending your 8-year-old or a 10-year-old kid to school in something that 75-year-old men wear, galoshes. Even the word is wrong. Who comes up with the word galoshes? We have to come up with a name for a snow boot. How about galoshes? That just makes everyone want to wear them. So it's that kind of day where you want to put your galoshes on and wear those to work or to school, so that your feet don't get wet. There was a park, and I was thinking about this because we don't have kids in the house, and so even when we had like junior high kids, even into high school, when it snowed, we would go sledding. And we don't have kids in the house, so we don't go sledding. I should go sledding. I love sledding. I know, as a 51-year-old, maybe I shouldn't, but I love sledding. We used to sled at a park where I grew up called Berry Park. It turns out Berry Park was built over like a coal ash dump, and they've cleaned it all up now. After we were all sufficiently filled up with coal ash dirt and sand, they've now cleaned it up, which is great for the kids up there now. But there used to be a big hill at Berry Park, and we used to walk our sleds over to Berry Park and sled all day. And sometimes after school, when it would be evening or dark, we'd walk over there in the dark and sled in the evening and when it was dark. And it was like Lord of the Flies. It was kid heaven. No rules whatsoever. You figured out how to get up the hill without getting run over by another person on a sled, or you would jump on somebody going past you. One of your buddies going past you, you'd jump on them, and you would sled down with them all the way to the bottom, hopefully. And Berry Park was like, the hill at Berry was like, Passfield sometimes. Here in Springfield, Passfield gets, when it warms up like this, and you're still sledding, it gets that pool of mucky, muddy water, that icy cold, and you really try to avoid that, because that really sucks, landing in the puddle at the bottom of the hill. And Berry Park had one of those as well, and it was horrific. There was a hill also, now that I'm thinking about sledding as a kid, there was a hill out near Brookfield Zoo, in like the Cook County Park District, and we went out there a couple times with a friend of mine, his dad, Milt Butterworth, and we went to this like night. We were doing, I think, a sleepover at Milt's house or something. Maybe we did this a couple times. Now that I think about it, and there was this. It was a big hill, and they would, and by they, I think it was just like the dads, because I can't imagine a park district. I don't know. Maybe in the 70s, a park district would do this. At the top of the hill was this gigantic bonfire, so that you could keep warm, because it was cold as hell. And you would sled, and we got there and it was dark, and there was this giant bonfire at the top of the hill, and it was just a great night, because you were just sledding, and then you would get warm by the fire, and then you go sled again. And when you think about sledding is one of those pure things that you did as a kid. You were just out there. Look at this jackass weaving in and out. It's like, hey pal, where do you think you're gonna go? Everyone's doing 40 miles an hour because it's foggy and crappy out here. Anyway, it's one of those pure things that you do as a kid. And I know it, my family didn't ski. We weren't snow skiers. I think we did it once up at some shitty little mountain in Wisconsin, and by mountain I mean hill, that was just pretty much ice covered, and it was horrible. So we weren't a ski family. We weren't anything else. But sledding in the winter was just, it didn't matter how cold your fingers got. It didn't matter how cold your toes got. It didn't matter if you got wet. It didn't matter when you got in the house, your face was completely chapped and raw. You had like the best, perfect, joyful experience. That's my opinion. I loved it, and loved taking my kids sledding. We would sled every winter, and sometimes they had fun, and sometimes they crashed into the snow fence, and sometimes they got run over. But it was great. It was great, and so far, in my experience, I'm 51, no broken bones. So hey, just keep doing it, I guess, until you break something. Anyway, have a great day. Make it a great weekend. Please, if you like it, hit like. If you like the channel, hit subscribe on YouTube so you get all these videos. We're just going to keep doing them. Thanks.